Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Mid-Level Media channel, your hub for everything physical media and entertainment. And guys, it is finally time for me to talk about a very anticipated movie for me. I've actually been holding off on watching this film for quite some time because I knew this one was going to get a 4K at some point. Yes, I know it's not a good reason to not watch a movie because I'm waiting for it to come to 4K, but when I know it's going to come to 4K, I know I'm going to review it and I'm going to talk about it. I like to prioritize the movies that I watch. I have very little time to watch movies and I like to prioritize. So I waited for the official 4K release of Chinatown to finally watch this film for the first time in glorious 4K UHD. And guys, look, I gotta say, I'm not gonna talk about the restoration or the movie just yet, but as an addition by Paramount, this is one of the best additions that Paramount has ever done. Like, just in terms of value and what all is included here. You got two films in this set. You've got Chinatown on 4K, and you've got the sequel, The Two Jakes, on Blu-ray also included. You got 3 new special features. You've got a documentary in here as well. It might be the best Paramount Presents 4K that they've ever put out. Paramount Presents edition that they have put out as of this time. But yeah, guys, before we get into this review, I do like talking about the film itself, guys. Yes, I do 4K reviews and all that stuff, and that's the title of the video, but I watched the movie and I want to talk about it. Now, I didn't get a chance to watch The Two Jakes because, to be honest, when I was finished with Chinatown, it kind of stunned me. Like, I was kind of floored and I was like, I just want to talk about Chinatown without the knowledge of what happens next in The Two Jakes. So I will watch The Two Jakes at some point, probably pretty soon. But I did not watch it for purposes of this review because I am just reviewing Chinatown on 4K. But yeah, guys, I do like to talk about the film itself. We will dig into the 4K transfer, the audio, the special features. We'll do a little unboxing as well. But before I get into it, guys, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. We talk about physical media on this channel, Blu-rays, 4Ks, owning the movies that you love, all that stuff there behind me every single day. Also, hit the like button and then comment down below, guys. Are you getting Chinatown on 4K? Have you seen Chinatown? I imagine a lot of people has seen Chinatown. I'm probably one of the last people to see this iconic film. So Chinatown is a 1974 film directed by Roman Polanski, starring Jack Nicholson and Faye Dunaway as a private detective hired to expose an adulterer in 1930s Los Angeles finds himself caught up in a web of deceit, corruption, and murder. So there you have it, guys. There's a lot that goes into this film. And look, when I'm watching a movie like this that I know is kind of built up to this like godlike status, like this is just one of the most iconic films of all time. I feel like this movie is pretty close to having the legacy that The Godfather and The Godfather Part 2 have, just as far as like being that classic like 70s movie. So when I go into a film like this, like I really want to like it. I really want to love it, to be honest. And also I'm thinking about how I'm going to talk about it. Like, what happens if I don't love this movie and I got to get in front of everybody and say, I don't love Chinatown, I just like it, or maybe I don't like it at all. It's pretty damn intimidating if I'm being honest, but fortunately, I don't have to worry about anything with this one because this is a really freaking good movie. This was a really great movie that I kind of felt very similar about The Godfather and The Godfather 2 the first time that I watched them. I'm like, these movies that were just built up to such a degree and such a level, I watched them, I'm like, damn, like these are films from the 1970s. Like there's a reason these are so iconic, and I completely understand it now. That's kind of how I felt watching Chinatown, and it didn't really hit me in full force until the very end of this film. And if you've seen Chinatown, I'm not going to spoil anything. It's a 50-year-old movie, but I'm trying not to spoil stuff on the channel, even if it's an older film. When you get to the end of this film, my God, like I was just freaking stunned because of what happens at the very end of this movie. It just really, I don't want to talk about it, guys, but it involves Faye Dunaway's character and her father and what happens to her. And just the scene where he just grabs the girl and it just pulls her out of the car. Like, that is so chilling. Like, that's one of the most chill inducing scenes that I've ever seen because of the implications of what's going to happen next. I realize I'm just talking about the ending here, guys, but this is how I want to kind of jump into this review. But the implications and what that means, like, just sent chills down my spine. Jack Nicholson is really freaking good in this movie, and he's given a performance unlike anything I've ever seen Jack Nicholson give. Like, he is always, it feels like Jack Nicholson's always given like 120%, but he's always in Jack Nicholson character. Whereas in this movie, he really feels like his character. He feels like Jake Gittes. Like, I'm not seeing Jack Nicholson like I see Jack Nicholson in all of his other films. Like, it's a very toned down, subdued performance, but it is a fantastic performance. I thought he was absolutely brilliant in this film. And it's like Jack Nicholson, like, I've seen him in so many things like The Shining and Batman and these movies I grew up with. Witches of Eastwick I used to watch all the time when I was a kid. The Departed, like, there's so many great like Jack Nicholson films, and you go back to the early stuff like this and you're like, damn, like Jack Nicholson. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, the other movie I've been watching for pretty much my whole life. But you go back and watch a movie like this, you're like, damn, Jack Nicholson. There's a reason he's an icon. Like, this dude has been acting for a very long time and acting very well for a very long time. So he is amazing in this film. Faye Dunaway is amazing in this film. They are both brilliant together. The way they set up the plot, and you don't really know what's going on. You don't know who's being 100% truthful at all times, and the way that they're playing off each other, and you're just constantly like drawn in to what's going on and who's telling the truth and who's lying. You don't know who has whose best intentions in mind throughout the movie. Just from beginning to end, I was completely captivated and mesmerized by the story being told here. It was such a compelling story from beginning to end. You got Jack Nicholson as this private investigator. It starts off like he's investigating an adultery scandal that turns into a murder, which turns into a fight over water and land. And it's just so compelling, like, the whole time. And most of that has to do with the performances of this movie and the characters, and the world building is so incredible. Like, 1930s Los Angeles, like, is a character itself in this movie, and you feel it throughout the entire runtime of this film. It's really incredible. The filmmaking, the directing, like some of those shots, like in the car, like just following behind Jack Nicholson's head as you're like pulling in stuff. It's so immersive. And again, like, this is a movie that's 50 years old. It's like they were doing incredible filmmaking techniques back then, and it's so cool to go back and watch movies like this and be like, this is where all these other films got it from. Like, they got it from movies like this in the 70s, and it's just so impressive and well done, and the scenery is so great, and the visuals are so fantastic, and the direction is so great. This movie, guys, it's honestly, I think it's pretty perfect. I think it's a pretty perfect. When I got to the ending of this film, I was like, wow, what a film, what a perfect movie. So I absolutely love Chinatown, guys. So do not worry about my thoughts on Chinatown, because I thought this was absolutely fantastic. Now, getting into the 4K restoration, guys, this is a native 4K restoration with Dolby Vision and HDR10. Now, Paramount left a little note on the actual press release that I'm going to read real quick. The exacting restoration was completed using the original camera negative, which was repaired using the latest technology in areas that had been previously damaged. The result is a sparkling 4K Blu-ray presentation that uses more of the best possible source than previous masters and faithfully captures the film's distinctively dreamy and simultaneously realistic look. So they're pretty much telling you this is the best that this movie has ever looked on home video. And after watching it, I have to agree, guys. This transfer was almost as great as the film itself. Maybe it was as great as the film itself, because this was one of the better 4K restorations that I have seen since I've started watching 4K. Absolutely fantastic. But a lot of that has to do with, again, the way this movie was directed, the way it was shot, just how it portrays Los Angeles, how it shows off the scenery, and just how it's filmed and films all the characters and the wide shots. And it's just such a visually stunning movie that translates to a great 4K restoration. And with that HDR and all those colors being so enhanced, everything just looks so real and just fully realized. There's such depth there to the picture, and it just looks incredible. some of the outfits, guys, just the time period, like the 1930s aesthetic and time period, and the way the city looks, but the way that, you know, everybody looks in their outfits, like Jack Nicholson sitting there in his office in the white suit, and his facial features, like all that stuff just looks so freaking spectacular. You can see every single detail. You can make out every fiber on his white suit, but all the outfits that everybody's wearing in the film, it just looks absolutely magnificent. Now, there's a couple of spots here and there that you could tell they just couldn't properly restore, but those are very, very few and far between. Like overall, guys, this is a stunning restoration, and maybe one of the better restorations that Paramount has ever done. So I think that, you know, they kind of lost a little goodwill with Once Upon a Time in the West. I think they more than make up for it here with Chinatown. This is a really stunning 4K restoration. So I cannot say enough good things about this. I was so happy with the 4K remastering on Chinatown. Now getting into the audio, this does have Dolby True HD 5.1. It's got Dolby True HD 2.0 as well. So as far as I could tell, I do not think this is any kind of an audio upgrade, or this has any kind of audio upgrade over that last Blu-ray release. Now, I just have the DVD right here, which I have playing on the screen back there. I found this at a thrifting spot like a couple of months ago, so I really haven't had this for too long. But I imagine that maybe possibly it's an audio upgrade over this DVD, but it is not over the Blu-ray release. So I will say, guys, look, I don't have the full like sound setup. I've got a sound bar, I've got a subwoofer, and my sound bar kind of simulates that 5.1, but everything sounded great to me. Like the score in this film is absolutely brilliant. Love the music in this movie. But just like I said, all the visuals and the sound of this movie, you are just completely immersed in this world. And the sound definitely enhances that. So no issues with the sound. Now getting into a little unboxing. I unboxed this on a collection update a couple of days ago, so I'm not going to get too in depth here, but I really love the artwork on the cover. I know some people kind of complained about it looking a little AI, but I think it looks pretty good. You fold it out like here in traditional Paramount Presents fashion. You have the original poster for Chinatown. You got the back right here, guys, with the special features, which we'll get into in a second. And I didn't even talk about that, but the iconic, you know, Jack Nicholson has that bandage on his nose like half the movie, and he has to act through that, and he's still brilliant despite having that over his freaking face like the half the movie. I'd say 50% of the movie he's got that over his face, so still great. Just a testament to him as an actor and a performer. But I like that, you know, the silver spine right there. You take it out of the slip cover, you got the front, you got the back right there. You do have the casting list on the bottom. That's the difference. Taking off the slip. You do get a digital code in here as well. And then you have the actual film, Chinatown on 4K, and you have the two Jakes right here, the sequel on Blu-ray as well. Now, I will say the only downfall here is usually with the Paramount Presents, and it's not even really a downfall because they're giving you an extra film here, so I can't really complain. But usually with the Paramount Presents, you get the movie on 4K, and you also get it on Blu-ray. You do not get Chinatown on Blu-ray with this set. You only get it on 4K. But again, like, I would rather have an additional film on Blu-ray than the movie that I already have on 4K on Blu-ray. So I will let that slide for this. Now, it would have been awesome, though, if they went the extra mile and did a 3-disc set with Chinatown on Blu-ray as well, but they did not do that. But again, an additional film, I can't really complain. Now, getting into the special features, guys, which you can count, like, the film, the two Jakes, as a special feature, but in addition to that, you have 3 brand new special features right here. Now, I will say they only note 1 on the back. So when you look at the back of this, it only says that this one at the top, which is A State of Mind, author Sam Wasson on Chinatown, it only states that as a new special feature, but the one below it, which is called Chinatown Memories, is also a new special feature. It's about 5 minutes. And then you have Sam Wasson talk about the trilogy that never was. He talks about the 3rd Chinatown sequel that never got made. And that's about 2 minutes. So there's actually 3 new special features, brand new special features on this one. But the most sizable one is the one with author Sam Wasson on Chinatown, which is a really great feature. It's about 15 minutes, and he talks about the significance of Chinatown. And if you want to hear somebody that really loves Chinatown talk about Chinatown and actually be coherent, unlike me and my reviews, that is definitely one to watch. He has such a love for the movie, and it's so cool to hear him talk about this film. You also do have a commentary by screenwriter Robert Towne with David Fincher. So I actually don't know if that's new or not. It's not stating that it's new, but you got David Fincher doing a commentary to Chinatown. So that is definitely really cool. And then you have Water and Power, which is actually a 3-part documentary where you have Robert Towne, the writer of Chinatown, visiting the aqueduct in modern day LA. I think they made that back in 2009, and that's about 80 minutes long. So that's like a full documentary on Robert Towne just reminiscing on the film of Chinatown. Now, admittedly, I did not watch that entire thing, but I watched about 10 to 15 minutes of it. Seemed pretty cool and a really cool like additive to this release for sure. But yeah, just some really great features here, guys. 3 brand new features, a commentary, all kinds of archival stuff, a documentary. You have an additional film on here with the 2 Jakes. And all that, guys, in this release, and the fact that the movie is so freaking great and the transfer is just immaculate. It's one of the best 4K restorations that I've seen all year. This leads me to the conclusion that Chinatown on 4K from Paramount Presents is one of the absolute best releases of 2024 so far and a must own for your collection. So thank you all so much for watching my review of Chinatown. Definitely like this video. Also, comment down below your thoughts on this film. Will you be picking this 4K up or not? Let me know in the comment section below. Subscribe to the channel. Turn on those bell notifications for all future videos. And follow me on all of my social media accounts. Those links are down below in the description. And in closing, forget it, Jake. It's Chinatown.